Hey everyone, and welcome to today's explainer. If you've ever felt like you're working incredibly hard, putting in the hours, but somehow just not getting any closer to your actual goals, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're talking about architecting personal prosperity. We're going to take this whole concept of financial freedom, which, let's be honest, for so many of us feels like this totally unattainable fantasy, and we're going to transform it into a highly practical, step-by-step blueprint. Okay, so let's dive right in and look at the actual architecture of wealth. So, I actually want you to stop for a second and ask yourself this core question right now. What does financial freedom really mean to you? Like, when you hear those words, what immediately pops into your head? For a lot of folks, their minds jump straight to luxury yachts, private jets, or, literally never having to lift a single finger ever again. But we have to ask ourselves, is that actually accurate? Because look, there is a massive myth out there that financial freedom means becoming a millionaire overnight and just clocking out for the rest of your life. That's kind of just lottery thinking, right? The reality is so much more grounded than that, and frankly, it's way more attainable. True financial freedom is really just having enough security to live without constantly stressing over bills, debt, or those crazy unexpected expenses. It's not about having infinite money. It's simply about getting rid of daily financial anxiety so you have the power to live the life you actually want to live. And that is a very accessible reality if you follow the right blueprint. So, to build this sturdy financial house, here is our blueprint for today. 1. Redefining financial freedom. 2. Laying your financial foundation. 3. Eliminating high-interest debt. 4. Building upward through investing. And 5. Protecting your financial house. Okay, step 1. Redefining financial freedom, or surveying the land. Moving right along to step 2. Laying your financial foundation. This is where we start digging deep. Look, you literally cannot build a skyscraper on a swamp. You just can't. So you absolutely must know exactly where your money goes. Honestly, it all comes down to 3 super straightforward steps. Create a monthly budget, track your income and expenses, and reduce your unnecessary spending. Now, I know it sounds almost too basic, right? But it is an absolute necessity. You have to tell your money where to go, or at the end of the month, you're going to be left staring at your bank account wondering where it all went. Even just identifying a few small areas to reduce spending and saving just a little bit extra each month, that builds a massive rock-solid foundation over time. So, once you have that budget locked in, I want you to focus your energy on these numbers, 3 to 6. This represents the exact number of months of living expenses that financial experts strongly recommend keeping in a dedicated emergency fund. So just calculate what it costs you to live for one single month. We're talking rent, groceries, utilities, the basics, and multiply that by 3 to 6. That right there is your target. Now, you might be wondering, why is that specific number so important? Well, because walking around without an emergency fund is kind of like walking a tightrope without a net. Did you know that nearly half of Americans couldn't even cover a surprise $400 expense without taking on debt? That is a staggering statistic. And let's be real, life happens to all of us. Job losses, massive car repairs, medical emergencies, those aren't just possibilities, they are eventualities. And a single unexpected event like that will force you right into incredibly expensive credit card debt, which can completely derail your entire wealth-building journey. Which brings us to step 3, eliminating high-interest debt, clearing the rubble. To clear the rubble of high-interest credit card debt off your construction site, you need a highly targeted strategy. Because those interest rates, they are actively stalling your wealth generation. So here's the game plan. First, focus every bit of your extra cash on paying off the highest interest balances entirely. Get rid of them. Second, just continue making the minimum payments on your other, lower interest debts so you don't fall behind. And third, actually, this is where the magic happens. Once that high interest debt is finally gone, transition that newly freed up money directly into your savings and investments. All right, step 4, building upward through investing, framing the structure. Now we get to build upward, and we're doing it using the absolute powerhouse engine of compound growth. Basically, this is the principle where an investment's earnings generate even more earnings over time, which radically accelerates your wealth accumulation. It literally means your money is making money, and then that new money starts making its own money. It's amazing. And time is your absolutely most powerful tool here. Even really small monthly investments, thanks to the magic of compound growth, can snowball into absolutely staggering amounts over a couple of decades. So how exactly do you capture all that growth? Well, here are a few practical vehicles a lot of Americans use. First, 401k retirement accounts. Quick side note, if your employer offers a match on this, absolutely take it. It is literal free money, no joke. Then we have Roth IRAs, which offer some pretty incredible tax advantages. And within those accounts, people very often use low-cost index funds and ETFs, which stands for exchange-traded funds. These are great because they provide diversified, long-term growth potential, but without those crazy high fees you see with actively managed funds. Okay, let's pivot for a second and look at the other side of the wealth equation, your income. Because let's face it, you can only cut your budget so much, right? But your earning potential, that is virtually limitless. Financially successful people almost never rely on just a single source of income. You can improve your skills to enhance your professional value, you can step up and directly negotiate your salary, or you could even start a side business to create entirely new income streams. And the whole point here is that more income means more money to invest, which feeds right back into that compound growth engine we were just talking about. Finally, we reach step 5, protecting your financial house, or weatherproofing. Because honestly, protecting your money is just as important as earning it in the first place. Depending on your personal situation, you need to make sure you have appropriate health insurance, auto insurance, home insurance, or renter's insurance. I want you to think of these protections as the literal roof over everything you've just worked so hard to build. Why? Well, because a single uninsured medical emergency or a really severe auto accident can literally wipe out a decade of your hard work and diligent investing in the blink of an eye. Insurance is that essential shield. It prevents unexpected financial setbacks from just destroying your prosperity. But you know, there's actually another threat we need to talk about, and this one comes from inside the house. It's called lifestyle inflation. This is a massive trap where your spending just naturally increases every single time your income grows. You know how it goes. You get a raise, so you buy a more expensive car. You get a nice bonus, so you upgrade your apartment. It basically just keeps you running on a treadmill where you're never actually building wealth. The solution to this is so simple but incredibly powerful. Live below your means. When your income goes up, you keep your expenses completely stable, and you invest all that extra income. It is a game changer and brilliantly accelerates your journey toward real financial independence. So, as we wrap up this blueprint today, I want you to remember this one universal truth. Financial freedom doesn't happen overnight. It is built through consistent decisions, it absolutely requires patience, and it requires discipline. It's built block by the smart choices you make every single week, every single month, and every single year. So review your plan, stay focused, and just keep learning. I want to leave you with this amazing quote from the material we covered. Your financial future is shaped by the decisions you make today. You don't have to be perfect, guys, but you do have to start. Just start with one small step today. Maybe that's finally writing down your budget or just logging in to check your highest interest rate. Stay consistent, let time work in your favor, and watch as financial freedom transforms from a distant dream into your everyday reality. So think about this. If you do absolutely nothing differently today, where exactly will you be in 10 years? Really think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.